welcome to another episode of Franklin and Douglas, where we talk about current events and give you bad advice. I'm Franklin, and with me, as always, is my buddy Douglas, Double D. How's it going?
It's going great. How have you been?
I've been pretty good. Can't complain.
Nice.
It's been a quiet week. Nothing too exciting. What about you?
Well, this week I joined a fantasy football league for the first time, and boy, do I feel
What?
butch.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Do you even know the players? What kind of
Absolutely
players
not.
did you pick?
Usually in the past, when I've joined these type like March Madness, that kind of thing, I usually pick my teams like who has the cutest mascot or who has the best butt, that kind of
Oh my
thing.
God.
And this time I was like, I'm going to go all for it. So I went and decided to research the players. And
Oh,
yeah, by research, I mean, I just pulled up a site that said who was the best picks.
okay. You didn't get into their backgrounds or anything like that.
Absolutely not. No, that's too much work. And
Okay.
I did
Well, I'm
pick
proud of you.
I did pick one kicker just because his last name was Gay. And I was like, you are my kicker.
You know what?
He's been injured for
Okay.
week one so far, so
Because he's gay. Oh, man. Well,
my
that's good. I hope you're happy having fun. It is fun doing fantasy football. It's
well,
very stressful as well.
it is. Yeah. Well, my sister-in-law and her father are both in our league too. And so I faced off against my sister-in-law the first week. And let me tell you that her father lets her know when her players are injured and who she needs to swap them out for. I call that collusion where I'm from.
I mean, he's got to tell her that's the coach. That's their team.
They're on
He's
separate
got to let.
teams. They have to face each other
Oh,
at some point.
oh, that's so sweet. He's a loving dad. Yeah.
Mm, I'm just
Yeah,
a little too
fantasy
competitive.
football is horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost Tua last night, so,
Oh,
um, now I gotta figure out I guess I gotta start Derek Carr.
hey, Derek Carr is not doing bad.
That's my husband, so yeah, we'll see how he does against Dallas. We'll see.
And it's only because of fantasy football that I knew that Derek Carr wasn't doing bad. So there you go.
That's okay, he just needs to keep it up. Right, great.
Right.
Well, I'm glad that you are joining, clubs there, even though you're not really talking to people, but you're talking to people. That's good. Proud of you.
Right.
So what do you have for us this week?
Well, the big news of the week, and we hinted at it in the last episode, I believe. Uh, but earlier this week of us recording was the first and maybe only presidential debate between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so I know you and our friend Mel and I were all group texting each other during the debate, as well as a slew of other social media memes I was receiving that night. I was
Pure,
watching,
pure comedy that night. Pure
oh,
comedy.
yes, comedy gold. I was watching some streamers that were doing bingo cards with
hmm
the debates and even drinking games. And, was watching people getting pretty trashed with these drinking games.
I told you I was trash the first 20 minutes. I had all my bingos, and then Taylor hit the whole bingo card to a whole full thing there at
Oh,
the end
yeah.
when she I was like, yeah, bingo. Right? That was great.
So I wanted to go over some of my observations. And full disclosure, I'm not a fan of Trump, but I'm willing to give him accolades if I thought he did well on something. So,
Yeah.
first
Okay.
off, I wanted to talk about policy or lack thereof. Kamala, in the beginning, brought up her young family tax credit. She mentioned that she's proposing to provide a $6,000 tax credit for parents of newborns, as well as bringing back the pandemic child tax credit. Right now, the current child tax credit stands at 2,000 per eligible child,
Okay.
and I mean
Yeah.
that won't affect me, but unless we decide to have another kid.
No, one was enough. Thank you.
Kamala
Yeah, that's
also,
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
Kamala also commented that her passion is small business, and is offering up a $50,000 tax deduction to start a small business. Currently, it's at $5,000, I believe, to help startup cover the average, they say $40,000 it takes to launch an enterprise.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and start a small business then.
I
What
think
are we
it's
gonna
time to
do?
start that anal beaching / alpaca farm you've been talking about for the past 10 years.
At any rate, Kamala ain't giving me 50,000 for that.
She might be your first customer. You never know.
Blasphemy.
While you're getting your anal bleach, you can pet the alpaca.
Anyway, continue.
So Trump's response was tariffs on other countries and stating that a tariff that he put on China has not been removed due to the billions and billions, which drives me nuts, of dollars that it took in. The
I love it.
billions and billions and billions, millions and millions.
Stroking his cat.
$1 million.
Oh my God.
the One of the moderators was David Muir, who brought up
Oh,
that
I
daddy
love
vibes.
him. Daddy. Oh my God. Okay, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Squirrel.
He brought up that many economists are warning that with the higher tariffs, it will mean higher prices due to the costs being passed on to the consumer. Trump argued that they will not go up higher, but mentioned the current inflation, bringing that things currently are up 50, 60, 70, and 80% higher in price.
Okay. Okay. And you know what's so funny? And this is just in general.
Mhm.
Why don't they ever answer the question?
That was my next point. Like, it
Oh, sorry,
drives
I'm
me,
rushing you.
no,
I'm
it's
like,
perfect. It drives me nuts.
they ever answer the question? I mean,
Mm-mm.
even Kamala danced around a couple of things. I'm like,
Yep.
just answer the question. So,
I
okay.
don't think I can remember any debates in my time of like being interested in politics that they actually answered questions. Any of the
Yeah.
candidates, it's something they do. They all kind of dodge the questions.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very interesting to see that. But yeah, go ahead. Continue. I just had that random thought. I was just wondering. I think we texted last night, or the night of the debate, and I was just like, did he answer the question?
Right.
Did she answer the question?
Right. And that's the thing. Like, I want to hear policy. Like, I don't want to hear bickering between each other and about billions and billions and about all this stuff. Like, I want to know like what their plans are. And I don't
Right.
feel like a lot of policy was actually discussed. I think Kamala's and Trump's answers to this question, which is why I want to talk about that first, was the
Mhm.
only actual policy I felt was actually presented.
Okay. All
But
right.
so Kamala brought up about Project 2025, calling it a detailed and dangerous plan that former president intends on implementing if he were elected again. Now,
Mhm.
Trump has been denying any truth of the callouts on this, but it is a little
Right.
scary that he responded with that this was a group of people who got together. They came up with some ideas. I guess some were good, some were bad. That I guess some good part makes me nervous. you know,
Mhm. Right.
what did he thought
I
was
mean,
good?
right, right. But I mean, okay, so I haven't thoroughly gone through the whole Project 2025, and I think that we definitely need to understand it to find out, all of the points, because we can't just, say, okay, it's bad, because it's coming from him. But I think we just want to make sure that we understand all the facts, and no one has really given all of that, you know. Maybe there is a line in there that might be good. Who knows? But I think we do need to keep ourselves abreast of the situations, as we're coming to the end of this year, where November is around the corner.
Sure.
And you know if he does win the election, it's going to roll out. So I hope you have your passport and your bags ready.
Hmm. I No one's going to take us at this point. Other countries will be like, keep your trash over there.
Well, luckily I'm part Cuban, so I can go back home.
Natural citizenship.
There you go.
When the topic of abortion was brought up, Lindsay Davis, who was the other moderator, asked Trump about him flipping on his comments of not supporting a 6-week abortion ban in Florida and came back the next day in support of it. Trump, as usual, dodged the question by bringing up stating abortions in the 9th month and even after birth. Lindsay
Yeah,
had to
that's
correct him that there is no state in the US where it's legal to kill a baby after it's born.
when first of all, I didn't even know there was another moderator.
Oh,
When you
you were too
like
busy looking at David.
exactly. But okay, secondly, when he said that, I was just like, wait a minute, isn't that murder?
Right, right.
I think Kama looked at him like, bruh, what did you just say? But yeah, he that was ludicrous.
Well, and then the
Just
next comment where he said that Democrats, liberals, and Republicans all wanted this topic brought back to the states. And it's like, I'm sorry, who? Nobody
what?
wanted this brought back.
I mean, we just want women to have the right to choose.
Yes.
Uh, I mean, after the 9th month, I don't know that this man knows how long a baby goes to term, but you know, it just needs to be the woman's choice and her between her and her doctor, and not the government, not these politicians, not these old grandpas telling us what to do,
Hmm.
you know. But yeah, that was a little crazy for him to say.
Well,
I
Kamala had a great response, I felt, by saying pregnant women who wanted to carry a pregnancy to term, suffering from a miscarriage, being denied care in an emergency room because the healthcare providers are afraid they might go to jail, and she's bleeding out in a car in the parking lot. She didn't want that. Her husband didn't want that. A 12 to, or 13-year-old survivor of incest being forced to carry a pregnancy to term, they don't want that.
right, right. Yeah, she did bring up some really um true and valid points. You
Mhm.
know, you never know what might happen, and people, are going through a lot. And I think it was, she said something about, they had they he would get this law where you can find out if a woman is having an abortion or
Mhm.
what's going on. And I'm like, it's bad enough that they're tracking our phones, you know,
Yeah.
and everything. And so now, you can't even go to the doctor and ask a question without them inputting it into a database, and then all of a sudden here comes the abortion police at your door. you
Right.
know it's crazy. I never thought that we would be going back in time where we are now. You growing up, you hear all of these things and stories about these type of situations that happening, and you never would think in 2024, 25 almost, that we would be going back to those things.
Right.
It's very scary, very scary indeed.
I did one of the points I did really kind of like because I'm also not a fan of JD
Hmm.
is showing some dysfunction in their, running candidacy together, what have you. Lindsay asked Trump if he would veto a national abortion ban, and that JD Vance is going around saying that Trump would veto it. Trump responded that he hasn't discussed this with JD yet. So to me, I was like, kind of threw him
And
underneath the bus.
he threw him under the bus,
Yes.
backed up on him, and then rolled back over. He was like, boom, boom, boom.
Right.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was like, "Wait a minute, he didn't even back his boy." He was just like, "I ain't say that. I ain't talk to JD about that."
And normally you think it would like you want to see like a cohesive campaign where both candidates are on the same page and
Right.
saying the same message and just kind of seeing that it's like oh boy.
And then another thing that it's crazy is like he he mentioned that Biden doesn't even like Harris.
Yeah.
Did you catch that one? He
Yes.
he doesn't he doesn't even like Harris. And she looked at him like, "What? That is my grandpa. What are you talking about?"
Right.
They threw him out like a dog.
And her faces, you mentioned the facial expression, some of
She
the best
has
facial
she
expressions.
has the best. You can tell that is a black woman right there with the faces that she has. Kamala is priceless. She everything is on her face. She cusses you out
Mhm.
completely without saying a word. I
That
love
was
it.
one of the memes where they're just like, she didn't say it, but you knew
But
that
she
she wanted to
said
say
it. She was
motherfucker.
like, she was like, this
Yes.
former president.
Right.
I thought that I was like, say it. She did. She fixed her lips and said, "This motherfucker here." Oh, I love it. Oh, that was good. That was priceless.
Well, the turning point for this debate in my eyes is when Kamala hit Trump right where she knew it'd get a reaction out of him, where she invited the people to attend a Trump rally where he talks about fictional characters like your boy Hannibal Lecter and cancer causing windmills, and that people
Oh, I'm
leave
gonna
early
hate
out
on
of
Hannibal.
boredom and exhaustion. The look on his face when she said those words was priceless.
No one leaves my rallies. My rallies are wonderful. They're beautiful, and no one leaves. Her rally, she's got to bust people in.
Yes.
Oh my God. That, yeah, he was not happy. He does not like that at all.
Well, and that's
And
when
like
all the sound bites started rolling in, where he
mhm.
started alleging that immigrants were eating dogs and pets of people in Springfield, Ohio. Which, I mean, listen, I'm from Ohio in a family in Ohio. And as far as I know, none of them or their neighbors are eating the pets, or they haven't
I don't
told me
know.
yet.
Last time I was out there, it was something a little gummy in their refrigerator.
And I did love Kamala's response where she's like, talk about extreme. It's like, thank you.
Oh my God. Yeah. It was some good stuff. Good comments. I swear. Um Oh, and then him talking about he fired people, because she was
Mm,
saying that a lot of his former cabinet members and confidants and different like were not going to vote for him again. And
mhm,
and he was like, no, I fired them. Because that's his thing. You're
right.
fired. And didn't she come back and say, well, I think what 82 million people fired you?
Yes. Thank you. I totally forgot about that. That was another great zinger.
I was like, no, she didn't just mic drop on him. He was like, and his whole face, the whole entire thing,
Yes.
just like a little sourpuss. I mean, like no smile, no expression at all.
I can just
And
imagine
somebody
his
needs to
campaign managers too, once she said the comment about the rallies, and they were probably like, oh, hell, like threw down all their papers and stuff because they knew it was going to go off the rails at that point. Because up until
he
that point, I think, even though I didn't agree with what a lot he said, I thought he was very well composed. He stuck to subjects, even though he may not have answered questions. Like we said, neither did Kamala on a lot of them.
mhm,
But I
yeah.
think up until that point, I think he was doing good, and he just kind of lost it at
Yeah,
that point.
yeah. And then of course, I didn't know she was black. She just turned black.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's great. Yeah, he is pure comedy with his and again, like I say, we must listen to both sides, and I think
Mhm.
that yeah, up until the point where she really got him with his his campaign rallies, he was doing okay. I mean, some of the stuff he says is a little extra,
Yeah.
and I think it can be construed as you know just rhetoric and stuff like that, but I think that you have to genuinely listen to both of them and
Mhm.
what they're saying. um no, just because we may not like him personally and whatnot, doesn't mean he's not maybe a good person or whatnot. But there are people that truly believe in what he's saying.
Yeah.
And like I say, I live in an area where it's Trump country.
Mhm.
And I have to have my Trump flag hanging out over my balcony so that they know. The day after the debate, I came out talking to my neighbors. Did you see how our boy did? It was wonderful. It's magnificent. They were like, yes. like, "You're not gonna get me caught up in the game."
And
But
it's
no,
funny too because you have like Fox News and like other Republicans saying it went bad, but he does have his base. It's no matter what he does, no matter what he
right,
says or does, like he is perfect. And I am more than happy to criticize the person I voted for president.
right.
I can't fathom just like saying that they did nothing wrong and they're perfect all the time.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And it's what I think also getting touching back on kind of race and his comment about Kamala being black. We want to make sure that we mention that she is also American Indian.
Hmm.
She's in her mother was Indian and beautiful woman, and you know that's her nationality, and she doesn't walk around with a shirt "I'm black," or
Yeah.
whatever, like just like Barack Obama. He wasn't his mother white or Hawaiian or something like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
but and his father was African.
Right.
But that's what they want to just bring to the forefront, that they're black and whatever. It's like, okay, that's wonderful. I just think that it's wonderful to see a woman of color,
Hmm.
period. And being in this position. And it's just so funny when he says, I didn't know she was black. Well, what did he think she was? You know?
Right.
Yeah, she definitely isn't white. I don't know what he thought she was, but she definitely has those black mama expressions on her face.
She
They
does.
call her mamala.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Hmm.
but like I say, some of the things that they both said were sometimes a little bit extra, and
Hmm.
um, I would like just for them to answer the questions. And at the end of the day, how is it going to benefit us? You
Hmm.
know, we we talk about, oh, this is what I'm going to do in when I become president, and I'm going to make it so that every American is able to buy a home, and I'm going to give you 50,000 credit and all this stuff. But then we get 2 years into it, and you're sitting there going, okay, well, where is all of this? What happened? Where?
Yep.
And I know it takes a long time for things to roll out, and just like it took Obama, so long to get things rolling, because they're going to block every single thing. If she does become president, the road is going to be extremely hard
Hmm.
for her to get anything across, and so it's going to be um, a waiting game, and we might not reap any of these benefits of her presidency, but hopefully our children and children's children will reap the benefits. And I'm hoping that, again, if she becomes president, she gets a second term, and we get get the ball rolling with some of the actions that she's proposing.
Yeah.
It all sounds good and all looks good on paper, but again, at the end of the day, you know, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the cats, and we need that to stop,
Yeah.
you know? So
First on Kamala's agenda. Stop eating
right,
people's pets.
stop eating the pets. But yeah, no, we do. It's a people want things to turn around fast, and I do too. It's like, as soon as you get into office, okay, where's the handout? Let's go,
Yeah.
But I know that it will take time for her to even get her agenda moving and across. And I just hope that she is able to get it going.
Only time will tell.
Exactly. Right.
All right. Perfect. Did you have anything else you wanted to say about the debate?
No, like I say, I thought it was really good. Obviously it was a lot better than Papa Joe did
Yes.
during the debate. They should have cut that real quick, but no, it was very good. And like I say, some good one-liners and some good zingers and funny little things that happened. But at the end of the day, it was good to see her up there. I think she exerted some good energy, and she put out her dominance as soon as she walked on stage, by walking right to him. And I thought she was going to say, Kamala Harris for the people.
Yeah.
I thought that would have been epic if she did that. And he talking about, okay, have fun. I'm like, what?
Right.
But no, I think Kamala is magnificent, and I'm really hoping that, you know, she gets to where she wants to be, and that's the White House. So
Yep.
we'll see ya. Yeah, but no, it was good. And it was great to have that those group chats going along with you and and
It definitely
showing
made the night more bearable.
exactly. And at the end, all of us were like, okay, I'm exhausted.
Yes.
This was ridiculous. No, that was great. That was great. So all right. So wrapping that up, did you get any questions? Did you review any questions out there that we can answer and help people along?
Always. And I thought I'd pick some questions that were related to politics or the debate or what have you.
Okay.
So now that I have you all warmed up with that, I just want to, as always, we want to remind our audience that we're not trained professionals and our advice should not replace trained professional help. But what do we always say, Franklin?
We survived the Castro, we
Mm.
can survive anything, and we can get you through life.
That's true. So today we're pulling our questions from Reddit's advice category. If you'd like for us to answer your request for advice, please DM us on your socials or comment. Maybe your question will appear on our next episode.
Okay, let's get it going.
And
What you
it was
got?
great that you were talking about your Trump flag because this request, they started off with My Landlord is Republican by Kool-Aid Jammers, which I love that name.
Mm.
So they go on to say, I am planning to display a Harris Walls signs. Is this going to upset my landlord? What would you do? There's nothing in the lease about it. I'm pretty much a blue dot in a sea of red, but I feel like I have just as much of a right as anyone else to display what I want.
And that is a great question.
Mhm.
And as much as I want to joke about it, it is so valid because, like I said, I live in an area where it is nothing but Trump supporters, and I joke that if I'm walking by my neighbors or something, and they have their Trump T-shirts and their Trump banners out, and I just kind of smile and wave, and they start having interactions with me, and I mean we have open conversations about it, and but in the back of my mind, I am very aware of my
Mhm.
surroundings and situations, and I'll play the game right along with him. Like I said, I'm not lying. I'm like, our boy did great, didn't he? As soon as I take out of the driveway and it hit the town, I'm like, yes, But it is you have to, you just make sure that you truly know your surroundings, and if something comes up of it, or your landlord puts a notice on the door, just follow the rules, because at the end of the day, you know you don't want to lose housing, you know or get kicked out or be harassed for because of what you support. I wouldn't do it. I mean, you know that's just me. I don't put anything out except for my Raider banners. I will fight for my Raiders, but
No
it's
one can argue with you on that one.
no, we're not doing that. I will live at the front door of the Raider Stadium if I have to. But no, I think that this person just needs to be very very, as you say, very mindful of their surroundings, and honestly, maybe talk to the landlord and say, "Hey, I respect your opinion. I hope that you will respect mine. I would like to put my support up for my candidate, and just want to make sure that it is, not against my lease or whatnot, or have an open conversation.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's how you start it off, and then who knows? Maybe you get a reduction in rent." But no, I think to that you should start it by having a conversation, going through your paperwork, making sure there is no you know, clause in the lease that you can't put something up,
Yeah.
but also then just, you know, talk to the landlord and acknowledge that I am a supporter of Harris. We could sit down and have a nice, you know, debate and conversation about both candidates. But at the end of the day, I'd like to be able to support my candidate in the way that I want, and that's by hanging my banner. Uh, and let's see where it goes. Hopefully, it's positive outcome for them.
Well, this reminds me of how we first met. Do you remember when you rented out your spare bedroom through Facebook Marketplace? I had answered your posts, and the same night I moved in, I did practice my nude yoga in the living room. You walked in the middle of me doing downward dog. Remember? I have never been kicked out of a rental so fast. But it turns out when I read your post too quickly, I thought you wrote the living room had nudist life. But when I reread it later, it said natural light. So
Yes.
embarrassing. But
I still have your yoga mat as well as if you need it.
anyways, I say hang the sign and fuck your landlord. That's my
Woo!
response. As someone like I said earlier, who grew up in Ohio, and my parents had neighbors that had Trump flags on their trucks, Trump flags on their lawn, Trump flags,
Trunk flag.
Trump flags on Trump flags. Fuck them.
Wow! All right. Next question.
Moving on. All right.
Woo.
So the next one comes from user Seahawks1991. And they title this, My Father and I Disagree on Politics and It's Coming Between Us. So their question is, my father, MAGA Trump supporter, and myself, center left progressive, have never really seen eye to eye in politics. However, in the last few years, he has really been more vocal about his beliefs and is constantly sending me right-wing conspiracy theory type stuff. This, of course, starts an argument that eventually ends up getting us both upset. Is there a way to discuss politics in a more constructive manner where it's trying to change someone else's political beliefs a lost cause?
I honestly feel politics and religion should not be discussed at the dinner table,
Mm,
in the home, because it brings up too much emotion. Um, and you know, that's your father, son, and th- they may, you know, they're battling over politics, over their beliefs, and that's great. You have your belief and everything, but at the end of the day, that's family.
hmm
Um, and you know, to go to battle over that, I don't think that it should be brought into the house. Period. I think that they both should agree to disagree, and you know, when they come inside the home together, and if it's the parents' home, the son respects the father's beliefs, and but also the father should be respecting him as well.
Yeah.
But because they're so different, vastly different, then they leave it outside, you know, and they just don't bring it up, because all it's going to do is start arguments, and you don't want the last thing you say to your father or to your son is something hateful or negative, and then they're gone from this world, and that's your last memory, your last conversation with them is, you know, your candidate sucks,
Yeah.
you know, and so do you. You know, I just think that that type of thing should not be brought to the dinner table inside the house. If they want to, you know, go to the coffee place, to the Starbucks, and have a nice little heated discussion, great. And then get home and don't talk about it at all. Talk about mom's meatloaf, you know? Yeah, I don't like that when that comes up in the home and you're discussing it back and forth and people get heated conversations. It's bad enough growing up in a black household, and you know, we have fights over spades, you know.
Yeah.
You don't want to do all that. Just, you know, or dominoes, throwing dominoes at somebody's head. It is what it is.
Right.
But
Right.
I don't think it should be brought into the home. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, I agree. You shouldn't bring it into the home, but what you could do is set up a like a mud pit in the backyard and, kind of
Mm,
wrestle it out, get the hose out, do a little mud wrestling. Whoever
mm.
wins can have their
Oh,
candidate. I don't know. We talked about that
oh,
day.
as the candidate hose them off.
Oh yeah, I
It,
get Trump in his American
it was
flag speedo.
it was beautiful mud. It was a wonderful mud, and it just slid off.
And he walked up to me and he said, "Mr. Trump," with tears in his eyes, "I won
Okay,
that mud wrestling match for you."
for you exactly. Disgusting.
But yeah, in all
Man.
seriousness, I mean, if you can't just have a conversation, just saying how this makes you feel, and you both agree to like a ceasefire, that agree to disagree and talk about things that you two have in common, bring you together.
Right.
I mean, that, like you said, you don't know when someone will be here today, gone tomorrow, and
Hmm.
arguing over politicians who really could care less about you, you know,
True.
like
That is
control your
true.
lives, your
Yes.
relationships.
Right. That's true. That was good. Thank you.
Yeah,
What else you
thank
got?
you.
Got anything else?
No, that was it. Once again, thank you for listening to us and submit those questions. And please like, subscribe, share. The more people that we get the word out there, the more interactions, the better. So we can reach other people and maybe change lives.
That's what we're here to do is change people's lives.
Right.
That's true.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you very much. As always, we'll see you again next week.
Bye.
Bye.